Welcome back, everybody. Today, Keira Crooms and I are going to sit down and have a conversation about tech stacks. And I know that doesn't sound very sexy when it comes to influence, but there's a method to our madness because we were having a conversation just last week and talking about how many things get on our list for tech. I mean, we have I think a separate platform for everything sometimes in our businesses. And if you stop and take a look, sometimes it helps to consolidate some of those. So we'll get to that point today. But Keira, thanks for sitting down with me again.
So much for having me. And Elaine, I have to argue your point. Tech stack to me sounds super sexy.
Oh. Well, that's why I have you.
That's right.
One of the things I noticed in working with some of our clients is that when we start to really look at all the things that they're using, there's a super long list. And whenever we're thinking about ways to express our influence or get our, we work so hard to get the words, the right content, the right book written to share with the world. But it really doesn't even matter if we don't have the right tech stack chosen,
Yeah,
because you can have the best thing in the world and nobody will ever see it.
that's right. And what I've noticed too is that a lot of times we think we have the perfect tech stack and we're buying more and more and adding on to it because this thing is the next great thing, or somebody told us about this thing and we don't even realize how much tech we're using.
Yes. Yeah. So, boy, I'd challenge anybody to sit down and make a list because it adds
Yeah.
up. That
Yeah. Go through
nine,
your credit card
10,
statement.
$30 a month. Woo.
It does.
Okay.
You don't realize it until you look at your credit card statement one day and go, I haven't used that in, 6 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, all right. So let's talk people through kind of what happened with me
Yes.
and how we got where we are. And maybe that'll, provide some reflection opportunities for people who are listening. So when you and I started working together, I was not yet using Kajabi, which is our now chosen tool. But if you look at it, I think it was, you guided me as soon as I started talking about doing courses instead of just publishing,
Mhm.
things changed. And so you were kind of guiding me through the thought process of, well, I could have a course platform and I could have, a community platform, and you can do plugins on different types of, of platforms to get there. But you said at first glance, Kajabi's going to look expensive. And you're right. I kind of went, wait, what?
Well,
But then kind
sometimes
of
when you look at it, right,
describe that.
it
Yeah.
is expensive. I mean, when you hop in Kajabi and you look at the pricing, the first thing you see is $199, and you go, "Oh my gosh!" But we don't consider the return of investment. And Kajabi has so many functions. You can have a community, you can build courses, you have email marketing inside of there, you have a blog, you have an entire website. So if you actually break it and podcast, you can podcast right from
Yes.
Kajabi. They now have a newsletter function. So there's so much that goes into it that if you actually broke it up and looked at everything you're paying for all of those services, you would be paying less if you just use Kajabi centrally. And so while I understand it is sticker shock initially, it really is bang for the buck at the end of the day.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
let's set aside Kajabi itself for the
Yeah.
moment, because I want to talk through what it is that you have to do to get your words out into the world. And so when you
Yeah.
and I have been working together, and again, you've been, kind of guiding me through some of this, let's look at all of the ways that people can leverage their content.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
So let's start down the list, because whenever I'm working with somebody as a content subscription client, we're doing that 30-minute interview that leads to a fair amount of content for the month coming up. So yay, did that. But what does it mean in terms of getting it out there? So think of you tell me all of the ways that you've seen people, because you've worked with other course creators.
Mhm.
So tell me the ways that you've seen other people start to use that content to express their influence.
Yeah, absolutely. So, well, number one, social media, obviously, and it really depends on your market because who you are, what you are putting out there, that's going to determine which platform is best for you. Is it a
Yeah.
LinkedIn audience? Is it an Instagram audience? Is it a Facebook audience? I will say it's never a Facebook audience. Some people will disagree with me, but it's never a Facebook audience. Uh, so it really does depend on what it is that you are selling, but the content should speak for itself and drive that traffic to the site. Now, when it is a Facebook content, is when it is ads. Ads are the quickest
Yeah.
way to get people to your course.
Yeah.
And you can run those across multiple platforms. Blogs are a big one because you can still use the keywords. SEO is great for this, for getting it out there. And so that's where you come in, Elaine, where you create that piece of content and then we get it into whether it is a blog or a newsletter or it is social media for people to catch those keywords. And I think that that's super important. But those mainly social media to answer your question.
One thing that you said that I want to get back to, or I don't want to get away before we revisit it, is you said it depends on your sales goal.
Yes.
And I love that because that's exactly what we say when we're working with clients
That's
is
right.
we say, what is your goal for this content? Because you can't just go make things up for the
Yeah.
sake of having something out there. So what
Yeah.
is your
And you
goal
always
for the
have to.
content?
Yeah, and you always have to look with the end in mind. That's where you should start, with the end in mind. What is that goal? What is the vision for that course?
Yeah. And I think if people hear, what is your sales goal? They're immediately going to say, well, we've been told not to sell, in our content. Yes. However, this is not about a sales pitch. It's about knowing what job your content has to do and how it's going to perform.
Yeah.
So let's go back to Kajabi for a second, because you were talking about courses. So,
Yes.
yes, people can create courses. That's one really great way. Sometimes I talk to people who don't necessarily want to publish a book, but then they have the bright idea that they do want to publish a course, because it's that same mindset,
It
right?
is teaching.
I have all of this in me that I want to share.
Yeah.
So how can I do that? So a course is a great way to do that. But then there's the blog. Blog is also a great place to teach. And you're right, there's SEO involved. There's email marketing, which I will stand on that mountain every single chance I get to say, if you are not creating and building your email list, you're missing opportunities. So
I
there's
agree.
that.
I agree with that 100%. I see it all the time
Yeah.
with business owners that they sit on it because they don't have the audience. But if you don't put the content out there, you're never going to grow the audience. And there are
Yeah.
ways that, we can help you grow that list.
Yeah. So those are three things that I use Kajabi for. And you know of some other ones. So that's already three really great reasons to, to start to
Mhm.
see how the value adds up inside a platform like Kajabi that's more of a do it all in one place kind of solution. But you've seen it used for other things that I haven't explored yet, like what, memberships
Yeah, the
and
community
community?
function,
Yeah.
which is actually really cool. It's kind of akin to Circle or Mighty Network or something like that, but it is within Kajabi. So if you already have a course and you want to drive people to your membership, it really is such a benefit to the platform. And it's kind of cool because you have a homepage where only members can see. You can, for me personally, in my community, I have a calendar up on that homepage so people can see what's coming up next. And then you have circles inside of there where you can do different things. You can do trainings inside of there. You can have a Q&A section. You can have a meet each member where everybody's introducing themselves. So it just breaks it up. And then you have a place where you can have meetings. You can schedule meetings and you can go live right inside of that community. You don't have to hop over to Zoom. You don't have to use some other recording platform. You can actually do all of that right inside of Kajabi. So when they say it's all in one, it actually is all in one.
And what a great sales tool to be able to host. Think about, because so many really effective marketers that I see right now are using webinars where they're giving away their knowledge, genuinely giving away their
Yeah,
knowledge. It's not just a sales pitch fest. Inside that structure, inside that webinar structure. So think about how effective that could be to, again, be able to do all of that in one spot.
I agree. I agree 100%. And I actually want to come back to something else you said, that people don't want to be pitchy. They don't want to be
Hmm.
salesy, when in reality we should be. We should be salesy, we should be pitchy, and Kajabi is kind of the greatest platform for that, because you can do it naturally. You can bring people in for free. You can invite them to your webinars. You can have those Q&As. You can have that, and people, if they don't know it, they can't buy it. So what's that saying? Closed mouths don't get fed. Well, you have to ask for it, but there is a way to ask for it that doesn't seem so sketchy. And I do think that that's the perfect platform to do it.
Well, and I think when you say that, it makes me think we're right now we're getting ready for a conference coming up called Grow 2025. And at that conference, we'll be exhibiting, and we're going to be doing some brainstorming with some of the attendees and thinking of super content ideas for them that really reflects their thought leadership. But up on that board, we're going to have the thought leadership category, a personal story, so storytelling category, and we're going to have the ask or the offers category for people, because you don't want to get so shy. To your point, you don't want to get so shy about asking that you never ask.
Yeah.
It's one thing to teach and to get people to know, like, and trust you. It's another to say, okay, now let's do the thing together. Let's do
Right.
business together.
That's right. And I
Yeah.
actually, it's just a personal story. When I started, I was terrified to put myself out there. I was terrified of the ask. I thought no one is going to want to follow me. Nobody's going to want to buy from me if I am pitchy. And so I had a business coach, and she kept saying, get in your Instagram stories. Just, nobody knows it if you're not asking for it. And she kept pushing me to do this, and I wouldn't do it. And then once I started to, I actually started seeing the conversions because I was
Hmm.
asking for it. People actually did want to buy from me. They just didn't know
Yeah.
what they were buying because I wasn't saying it.
Yeah.
So if you want people to buy from you, they have to know what you're selling.
That is so good.
Yeah.
We need to put that on a poster.
Yeah. T-shirt.
Now, one of the things that people forget, I think, about Kajabi is that it does host the whole website. It
Yes,
hosts those sales landing pages, but you can host your whole website there, which
that's
I
right.
do. We do.
Yeah. And it is beautiful because it's something like, if you use Squarespace, you would likely love Kajabi because it has that ease. It's user friendly. You're not going to be dealing with a ton of plugins. You don't have to use a huge design system or what is it? Elementor.
Elementor, yeah.
Elementor.
Elementor, Divi, yeah.
Yeah. And so for people who, like me, are not web designers and don't understand code, it is the perfect platform to design.
Yeah.
And so you do have your website and you have unlimited landing pages, which, how cool is that? Because you're not gonna run out and have to spend $150 on another landing page. So that to me is one of the biggest benefits, is that you do have unlimited pages.
I like that too, because it allows you to be very specific. Just like
Mhm.
on the content side, we just created a new page instead of having everything kind of stacked up in one services page.
Yeah.
We were thinking, well, people need to be able to explore this and understand exactly what it will do. We're putting up a page around your offer on Kajabi. So yeah, I mean, it's so versatile.
It is, and you can use pages for so many things. And I think people don't realize how beneficial that is to your business, to be able to have a form for everything to have people sign
Yeah.
up. That's how you're going to get them on your list. So even
Yes.
if you want to know more about content, great. Sign up with this form. That is a landing page. If you want to know more about publishing, great. That is a form. Get them on your email list that way. And so to be able to have unlimited landing pages, you can have 50 forms for people who want to know more and just hear your voice, but you're then asking the right question.
Yeah, and I know that sounds like a lot, y'all. Everybody that's listening, that sounds like a lot. However, think about what that does for your user experience. It
That's right.
really customizes it and it allows you to bring people into your site exactly where they want to be instead of making them go to the homepage, fumble around, find or not find what they need. Maybe they bounce and leave.
Right.
So you've got to have it be really relevant to them when they first arrive, and that's the joy of a custom landing page.
Yeah, it's true, because I think a lot of times what happens is the message gets lost in the shuffle if we have multiple offers. But
Yeah.
if you have multiple offers, being able to direct them to one place for what they're looking
Yes.
for is massive. It
Yes.
really does take that client experience to the next level.
Because it helps the prospect say, oh, they get me.
Mm-hmm.
They
Yes.
do understand,
Yes.
what I'm challenged with. And by the way, they know how to fix it.
Very clearly, without them having to
Yeah.
dig through your site to figure
Yeah.
out what you do. One of my very first VA clients, she used Kajabi as her website. She wasn't getting courses up yet. She wanted to use it that was why she purchased it, was for courses, but her website was already built there. She had a designer come in and do the whole thing, not realizing that you don't have to hire a designer because it really is so simple.
Sorry,
And
y'all. Sorry,
yeah,
designers.
sorry, designer. Although if you have templates, that's great, because Kajabi, you can buy Kajabi website templates that you really love and put them in. So that is one aspect that I do not mind a designer having templates for Kajabi, because I think that's kind of fun.
Tell me who you end up working with, because obviously we work together a lot, but you work with Kajabi for a whole lot of other people. So tell me what types of clients you think do the best on Kajabi, or that you like working with the most.
Business owners. That's
Yeah.
the answer. Business owners. And the reason is, Elaine, is because everybody needs a website. Everybody has something to say. So everybody needs a course. While I know a lot of people are very resistant towards it, I do think it's, number one, it's a great marketing tool, but it's a great way to create evergreen income. So if you are, like, for example, I worked with Catherine Bound on her website, and she's a sales coach and she has networking groups. So for her,
And is putting on this big
yeah,
conference we were talking about.
exactly. So,
Yeah.
people might look and go, why does she need Kajabi? Well, it's an all-in-one platform. She can do her website, she can do her newsletter, anything that she wants to create. Her community is there.
Her
So,
networking,
yeah,
her
her
networking
networking.
communities.
Exactly. So for Catherine, it is actually the perfect platform.
And now we're seeing, like, Catherine also has the National Business Development Association, and we're seeing her leveraging the power of the courses inside the NBDA platform. And what that does for that group, because it's all about B2B sales and it's about, really learning to nail your value proposition and your whole sales cycle.
Yeah.
And she has so much incredible content that she's accumulated over the years. She's the author of How Good Humans Sell. And she's been able to take a lot of that and present it in course format. So it may help even just to redefine a little bit about what we mean by course, because I think a lot of people envision this major production, and it doesn't have to be.
No.
Because, for example, what did we just do? Well, on the content page, we turned it into a little mini course.
Yeah.
And why? Because I wanted to present sort of a show and tell about how we turn a 30-minute conversation into content. So I wanted to show that, but then I also wanted to provide the original interview for people to reference and Yeah, examples of PDFs of the outcome. What did the finished content look like? So people could see exactly how we went from A to B to C. So this is not always just about having a big giant course. It's not this big heavy thing. It's little bite-sized pieces of information.
Coaches love Kajabi, and it's
Yeah.
perfect for them because if you are going to create evergreen income or even a like a 6-month program that you have participants come and you go live, it's a perfect place for them to have those interactions.
It lets people learn more
Yeah,
before, we jump on a call. Is this right for you? It's
that's
okay.
right.
It saves you time. It saves me time.
That's
Yay.
right. So we have, lead magnet. It can be evergreen, or like your book, your rules course, you actually offer office hours. So I do think that there are levels to those courses as they
Yeah.
come up, and people oftentimes go, "Oh my gosh, that's so much work." As as you did last week, that was what, a day of work for you?
Maybe not even.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe not even.
Just
So
repurposing
that's
what I
right.
had.
And how much content do you already have saved that you could turn into a course? So I do think that a lot of times people are scared of it because of the work that goes into it, when in reality, it's not that much work.
Yeah. It can go really fast. So just to
Absolutely.
recap that part, it's a course, quote unquote, can be a lead magnet, something you offer for free, which is it's an elevated way of presenting your expertise, or it can be that evergreen income that you're talking about, residual income that's running in the
Yes.
background. And you can
Yeah,
do both inside a platform like Kajabi.
that's right. And it doesn't even have to be just evergreen because you can also
Yeah.
run a program where it's 6 months and you're getting monthly payments in and
Oh,
you're
like you
sharing
said,
it
the
into
coaching
yeah,
program. Yeah.
absolutely, like a coaching program. So there are different levels. There's just different ways that you can do it. And Kajabi allows that, especially for somebody who's going to do like a coaching program. They have the
Yeah.
drip.
Yeah.
So people don't get
Yeah.
access. You already have all the content in, but people don't get access until they have done the first or
Yeah.
second, or third. Yeah.
Automations. That's the other thing we should talk about because I think of it in terms of email all the time. And I didn't think of it, I don't know why, about the course because
Mhm.
obviously we have that. But to be able to automate either your sales sequence or your course, the way you guide people through the course is is gold.
Yeah.
It's so important and it allows you to be kind of in more places at once than you could normally be. So I'm glad you brought that one up too.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I think that's incredible. And I think, those automations are meant for your client to have a great experience
Yeah.
without realizing that they're dealing with the automation,
Yeah.
and it works and it's beautiful.
Yeah. I love all that.
I
So if people are curious about Kajabi, how do you suggest they get started?
reach out to me. No, kidding.
Well, it's,
I mean, really reach out to me. I
that
do
it,
have a referral link that you can try for 30-day free trial. You can email me, Kira at sparks360.com
and
to
we'll
get
have more information on the website. So
yes.
we'll have a landing page for you to take a look at. See that landing page we were just
I like
talking about? We'll have a landing page people can look at. We'll have contact information for Kira because she's the go-to, not me. And and you can explore it and see if Kajabi's going to be right for you.
Yeah.
And if you take nothing else away from this conversation, I really want you to take a hard look at your tech stack and whether or not it's working for you in your business the way you're running it now. Because what you did when you started is probably not what you need right this second. So take another look at that and think about then how those things are helping you get your voice out into the world because the world needs more of you. All right, everybody. This has been fun. I think this has been a good review of a good reminder to take a look at the tools we're using, whether they're serving us. And thanks, Kira, for walking us through the Kajabi options.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. This was fun.
Yeah, everybody get in touch with Kira, and we'll see you next time.